Greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. You're watching Raven Review. I'm your host, Raven, and today we are going to be talking about Darren Shaw's Circus to Freak Darren Shaw saga. So, it gets kind of complicated here. So, the author wrote a huge saga called Darren Shaw, which is named after himself, but spelled different. All the books are called Circus to Freak, whatever, in the title. And then he went and broke them up into 4 different trilogies. The first trilogy that I'm going to be talking about is the Vampire Blood trilogy, which is A Living Nightmare, The Vampire's Assistant, and Tunnels of Blood. Those are the first 3 books, and then I'll go on to the next saga. So, I'm going to try not to get into too many spoilers.
1, 2, 3.
And try not to make this video like super freaking long like I normally do with all my book reviews, because I kind of rant on them, which I'm doing now.
That seems to make sense if you think about it.
So, I'm going to give it to Miko, and she's going to give you guys a real quick summary of Vampire Blood.
The saga of Darren Shan follows the story of Darren Shan, a normal human boy who is coerced by the vampire Larden Crepsley into becoming his assistant and a half-vampire. In the first trilogy, known as Vampire Blood or the Vampire's Assistant, Darren learns about and comes to accept his vampirism. In the first book, Cirque du Freak, also known as Cirque du Freak, A Living Nightmare, Mr. Crepsley makes Darren a half-vampire in return for saving the life of one of Darren's best friends, Steve Leonard. In the second book, The Vampire's Assistant, Crepsley notes that Darren is quite lonely and brings him back to the freak show, where he befriends a snake boy, Evra Vaughn, and a human Sam Grest. In the third book, Tunnels of Blood, Crepsley brings Darren Shan and Evra Vaughn to his hometown, where one of the vampire's enemies, a vampanese named Merla, is murdering innocent people.
Okay, thank you, Miko. So, let me get into the 3 books really quick, and what I think of them. So the first book, which is, Circus to Freak, Nightmare, that's when we learn about Darren and his friend Steve, and they go basically to an illegal circus and stuff like that, and that's where they meet Crepsley and all that stuff, and they find out that we find out that Steve is evil, and Darren steals the spider and that kind of stuff. So that book is very well written. It's well written. It's not very long. I think it's a little under 200 pages. So that's the first story. If you want to get the actual book itself, all the books are individually sold, or you can get them as like the trilogies, which there's 4 of them. So just let you guys know that. Yeah, so, there's that with Steve and stuff like that, and finding out he's evil. And then, Darren makes that deal with Crepsley to make him into a half vampire in order to save Steve. And that shows that, he's a really good, genuine friend and stuff like that. And he does what he needs to do in order to protect his friend. Which that doesn't happen a lot in real life, unfortunately. So I really did enjoy how that was executed and stuff like that. And then he has to go to the circus, and that's where he meets his new friends, which is Evie Vaughn, who's like a snake girl. There's Reggie Veggie, and then there's Sam, and they pretty much all become friends and stuff like that. I like Eva, Eva, something like that. I think that's how you pronounce her name. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. But Reggie Veggie, or RV, I remember her name. That character is like an animal activist, environmentalist kind of person, and I'm trying not to spoil what happens, but they definitely deserve messing with. Reggie messes with the Wolfman. We'll put it that way, and it goes sideways. We'll put it that way. And unfortunately, some tragedy does happen with Sam, and that part of the story is very well done and very well written, because you learn a lot about the inner part of the circus, or Circus de Freak, and you find out about Mr. Tall and a couple of other about these little weird imp, I forget what they're called, little creatures. So yeah, it's very well done. And then in the third book, we're introduced to, I think, Morgan, who's a Vampanese, and goes and kidnaps Ivra, and you learn a little bit more about Kripsky, who, by the way, is one of my favorite characters. I love this character. I believe Kripsky got his own books too, if I'm correct. I haven't read them, but I think Kripsky has his own books too. So, but besides that, it's very well done. The book is, again, very well written. So overall, as far as Vampire Blood, the trilogy goes, it's very entertaining, and it definitely keeps you in suspense, and it goes from one adventure to the next adventure to the next adventure. So there's really not any like downtime. There's a little bit of downtime, but there's not a lot of downtime to the actual book itself. So it keeps you entertained, and it really wants you to keep on reading the book itself. And I think that's really good. So as far as a rating for Vampire Blood, I'm going to rate it as...
Shut up and take my money!
Just because I really enjoyed it, and I didn't really want to put the book down. I read Vampire Blood. I read the trilogy books. I didn't read the individual books. So I'm sure the individual books are just as good, and matter of fact, they're the same book.
What's wrong with you?
It's just easier collecting all the books together in one volume, and there's 4 volumes. So like I said, I'll talk about all 4 volumes over the next couple weeks. So yeah, definitely pick it up if you want to. It's definitely well worth it. It's a very entertaining book. If you like vampires, this definitely will crave that bloodthirst for vampires. So, with that all said, I hope to talk to you all later. Hope I didn't rant too long, and we'll talk to you all later. Like I said, don't forget to give someone a hug. May change their day, may change their life. Hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Raven Review. Please remember to push the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know when a new video has been posted. Also don't forget to like or dislike the video you just watched. Then you can be a awesome person by sharing this video with all your friends on your social media networks. Have an awesome-tastic day and thanks for watching.